Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I sincerely hope all of you are in the best of your health. A very warm welcome to today's session, which will be a discussion on the topic how cloud can accelerate ROI for your SAP investments. Today's session is organized by Google Cloud, Bravo Technologies, and etcio.com. But before we get started, I will take a couple of minutes to set the context and then introduce our speakers for today. Businesses have seen extraordinary efficiency in their operations thanks to digital. Their various functions have become smarter and more proactive with the power of platforms and solutions like the SAP range of tools. But the nature of business is only to scale if it has to grow. And that means utilizing these tools in the conventional manner is no more adequate to keeping up with the growing complexities. Henceforth, firms need their SAP environments to run with higher flexibility, scalability, security, and transparency. And what better than cloud to make this happen and maximize your SAP ROI? To learn how your SAP environment can be optimized with the power of the cloud and how you should strategize that journey by partnering with the right set of experts, we have with us today two highly experienced and demonstrated minds from the industry who shall lead to an engaging conversation for the next 1 hour. With that, we have with us Mr. Preetham Sahu, partner, cloud architect Google, and Mr. Abdul Munim, director, Brow Technologies. I sincerely welcome both the gentlemen to today's session. So before we move on, I would like to take our audiences through one of the Q&A session that we'll be having towards the end of the webinar. For that, all the audiences will come across a slide with the QR code to submit your questions, which we shall then take further towards the end of the webinar for our speakers to answer. Therefore, all the attendees are requested for a change to keep their smartphones ready in hand so that you can scan the QR code once it comes up on the screen and submit your questions with us. So without any further delay, let's jump on to today's discussion. With that, over to you both the gentlemen.
Hey, hi, Vaisakh. Thanks for the intro. I think Pritham, you can start with your deck.
Yeah, so let me present my screen. Vaisali and Abdul, if you can see my screen, if you can say yes, that will I'll get started.
Yes, your screen is visible.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you everyone for tuning into the webinar series with our premier partner, Brio Technologies. So today's agenda is like why you can get started for your SAP landscape on Google Cloud, how Google Cloud can help you get started with the innovation and transformation journey, and ultimately be your platform of choice through the journey, right? So my name is Preetham. I am a partner engineer with Google Cloud. So let's try to understand what is our mission statement and what it means for the SAP enterprise and SAP organization. So our mission statement is quite simple. We are here to accelerate every SAP organization ability to digitally transform and reimagine the business through the data-powered innovation. So what it means, in the simpler words, we are trying to help the customer get started in the transformation journey. And the way we help our customers' journey is not only Google differentiated technologies, whether it is more than 2 decades of pioneering the art of data analytics, AI/ML, but also for the SAP landscape and uniquely enriching this SAP landscape with data signals once the customers or enterprise like you get started embarking on the Google Cloud, where they can draw insights not only from Google Cloud technologies or SAP running on Google Cloud, but also from like search, YouTube, media, ads, so forth, so on, so that you can get started in the true transformation journey with us. So let's understand what differentiates Google Cloud when you have multiple other options as well from the public cloud standpoint, right? So we have been working with a lot of our customers, and we understand where the industry is heading to. And this has been already acknowledged by industry experts like Gartner, Forrester, to name a few. And we are helping our customers to meet them wherever they are in the journey to get started on the transformation or innovation space, right? So the idea is to provide an open hybrid multi-cloud, and one such product which has been helping our customers in this space is Anthos, which provides you a single pane of a glass, consistent experience, so that customers can easily manage the workload, whether they're running on-prem or might be in some other cloud, or even looking for a multi-cloud options apart from GCP. So truly a seamless experience so that you can manage your containers using state of art technology like Kubernetes, which has been popular among all the developers, right? So that's one aspect. But we have been helping our customers to break down the silos, and the way we're doing is trying to draw insights from the data, and this all data has been real time. And one such unique differentiator offering from Google Cloud is our petabyte scalable, serverless, completely serverless, is BigQuery, who has been helping our customers and organizations like you, especially SAP organizations, so that they can draw insights from the SAP data, enrich it so that they can get started building not only the unique data culture, breaking down the silos, as well as drawing insights for the unique business case they are looking at to explore. And we have been from the day one a strong believer, or you can think of us completely paranoid in security, and we believe in no trust or zero trust security model. So what it means is we are trying to provide you end-to-end cloud security, wherein right from the the devices or data center to the custom built infrastructure, and we don't use any third party. uh, Sorry for the glitch. uh, Abdul, can you see my slide back? It just fickled around.
Yeah, I can see.
Okay, my sincere apologies. Sorry for the glitch. So the idea was to provide end-to-end cloud security, and encryption is by default. Whether you want to use Google managed encryption keys, or even if you're looking to bring your own encryption keys and retain those encryption keys on-prem, you can do it the way you want. And one of the profound offering which has happened very well, especially like work from anywhere or anytime, any place, to typically call it is like new normal way of working in the transformation way, is our Google Meet, especially, or the workspace, or even our offering with your Google Drive, Docs, and everything, which has been very handy to collaborate in real time wherever the employees can are working, so they can connect in real time in a virtual mode with a truly interactive mode. And we understand cloud is still one of the parameter where customers are looking at to get started in the cost effective approach. And we'll discuss as you go ahead what Google Cloud can help you for your workloads, plus for SAP customers what we can do extra so that we can help you get started. And all of this solution which you see from Google Cloud has been battle tested. So what it means, we as a Googler as well, and our strong partners like Brio who are in the call, are the frontline users of this service. As a result, you can truly safeguard your investment on Google Cloud in a seamless and frictionless approach. So let's take a step back and understand what Google Cloud and SAP and how the strong relation dates back. So we started the journey with SAP 2017. But saying this, most of our customers don't know that we are one of the largest S4 HANA the implementation. We have it, and also a referenceable customer for SAP. In fact, so what it means is, few years back when we started our modernization and innovation journey, we face similar challenges and imperatives like you might be undergoing through, and we understand the pain. So we looked at best in class enterprise ERP offering, and it turns out to be SAP. So because they has industry verticals and templates for all these retails space, or media, or entertainment, or manufacturing, or healthcare, right? So as a result, we went on implementing not only S4 HANA, we also have the SAP cloud offering, the public cloud S4 instance, or Hybris, Ariba, the Sales Cloud, the Concur, and much more the landscape. And as a result, we also gave the best practices and open sourced this so that any customer can benefit, and try to learn over how we face the challenges and how we overcame through. But similarly, when SAP started to looking at best in class infrastructure for, especially for their flagship product for S4 HANA, right? So they looked at Google Cloud, because Google Cloud not only by far that time when they selected it, but at present is one of the best in class cloud infrastructure. As a result, we have more than 10,000 developers from SAP doing complex S4 HANA development, as well as some other SAP related applications. And you can see the trust of SAP on us choosing as a platform of choice for their flagship product for S4. So what it means for you as a customer, both the organization coming together, and of course the strong partners like Brio who can help you on this journey, is your investment is completely safeguarded while you embark the innovation journey for SAP on Google Cloud. And let's understand so how Google Cloud has been helping our customers for production ready environment. So we give you something from, let's start from left to right rather. So we give you something called premium support. So what it means is whenever you log a ticket with Google Cloud, we understand what your application landscape is, and we also understand who the partner is working on this, so that we give you right kind of RCA to troubleshoot your problem in quick amount of time rather than just passing on the support tickets here and now. So it's more of a context aware support. And we have been jointly working and certifying one of the largest uh, the virtual machines for running your complex SAP applications. And to call out, we have to 12 terabyte VM as well for SAP, especially for memory intensive applications like S4, like SAP HANA, as well as we currently offer bare metal on like 18 terabyte and 24 terabyte if you are looking for that kind of saves for SAP applications on GCP. And the best part is we talked about integration support or context awareness, but also we take care of incident management, the war room, the escalation, the TAM, which is technical account manager, would typically hand it to give you that the comfort and to get you started the confidence of your SAP applications on GCP, as well as the executive sponsorship from Google Cloud and our strong partners like Brio to help you get started, so that at each steps we are there you to guide you so that you can embark the journey of transformation with us. And of course, we talk about the SAP, and we understand SAP cannot afford downtime because that can result in millions of dollars of loss for any organization, because it's typically the backbone for any organization to run through, right? So as a result, we give you all the options from SAP, whether they're looking to use SAP tools for SAP landscapes, or even from the Google side, we give you. And those all solutions from Google side are certified by SAP as well. And of course, everything falls short because if you don't adhere to the compliance and regulatory challenges, we adhere to every industry challenges looking out. We publicly publish it as well on our GCP website, and you can bring in. So the idea is you can still innovate without transforming from ECC to S4, with bringing on all legacy database. Might be you have Oracle database for ECC, or might be you are a suite on HANA, for example. You can still embark and then innovate as well on GCP using our best-in-class cloud services. So it happens that most of the time, our customers and enterprise start with the infrastructure, and eventually they go into data innovation and all the other aspect of building interesting use cases for the SAP applications. So coming back to the infrastructure, we have given a lot of automation templates. As a result, any customer want to get started, they can quickly upgrade or get started for even for greenfield as well as for migration with the deployment templates. And one such customer, I like to call it out, it's in the retail space, and they got live in just 16 weeks, and it involved from development to sandbox to pre-prod environment, that is QA, and then went on to go live. Just 16 weeks cycle, they went live in Google Cloud for a greenfield deployment. And of course, SAP applications users uh, look at for the low latency environment, because that is also the key. Google Premier Tier Network Backbone has been helping our SAP customers in this reason. As a result, once the data enters the premium tier network, it doesn't hop over like normal cloud vendors typically hop over different ISPs. Given as a result, the latency is typically reduced, as well as we give you a more secure type of a environment as well, because it stays in the Google network rather than leaving the Google network going and hopping over other internet service providers, right? And we talked about larger shapes as well, like 12 terabyte. And similarly, if you see, if you want more like 18 or 24, we can still help you in this journey. And one quick thing to call it out, typically we understand the maintenance windows are typically also do disrupt your business applications. And there can be a scenarios where you cannot afford those for the SAP applications. We have a unique secret sauce of offering called live migration, wherein it easily migrates without any manual intervention from you as a customer. It safely migrates your SAP applications, configurations, metadata, and instance ID for anything for related to SAP landscapes. And it's very fast and in the same zone itself in the Google Cloud. As a result, there is no downtime even during the maintenance window. And of course, we are looking at a cost optimized approach when we're trying to build the innovation, especially around data and the other layer. We have seen the customers SAP using BigQuery, where they're trying to extract the data and enrich it with other data set, might be first party, third party data. There has been a significant cost savings around 34% on an average over a 3 years period time, the TCO and ROI. And we do have a ESG report as well, publicly available, how BigQuery has been helping our customers in this journey. So we spoke about the infrastructure, which turns out to be the starting step for our customers for innovation for their SAP landscapes on GCP or Google Cloud rather, right? But the customers, they choose Google Cloud and they stay for Google Cloud, in fact, for integration, insights, and innovation. And let me quantify that. Let me start from left to right. If you look at today's scenario, one of the major challenges is how to access the SAP data, because SAP data follows a lot of proprietary protocol. Might be BAPIs, might be you are using OData, might be in some cases if you have a NetWeaver gateway, you are using HTTPS. But SAP applications, enterprise running SAP applications rather, they also have non-SAP applications or might be SAP cloud applications. How to seamlessly integrate without disrupting the legacy API way of a protocol or interface, right? So here what Apigee has been helping, and Apigee is the only OEM in the SAP ecosystem has been selected as a API management platform, not only as for just API interface, but full API lifecycle management. And it also removes the fear, uncertainty, doubt, because every time we understand SAP application owners are worried who is accessing my SAP data. They want to have a full-time, real-time visibility. So Apigee can give you that full control. As a result, it gives you a single interface and standardize the way you want to expose and integrate the entire landscape. Whether it is SAP, non-SAP, it can seamlessly take care with a robust, secure API platform. So this is one of the way, because API has been the backbone of your innovation or transformation. The other way we look out to break down the silos, the data culture, is about how to enrich the SAP data with third party, first party, might be some other data, right? So BigQuery has been helping this, which is again the serverless platform we spoke about slightly earlier, wherein you can just take the data and you can use the tool of your choice, whether it's SAP tool or Google Cloud tool, and start mashing up the SAP data with non-SAP data to draw insights for all sort of interesting use cases. Or might be beyond that, you're looking to apply some data signals from Google Cloud. Once you get embarked, you might be looking to add ads data or search data, might be other Google Cloud public data set data. You can easily do it so that you can understand the trends and patterns to build some real revenue or business models. And everything falls short if we don't include the world of AIML. With Google Cloud, literally sky is the limit. And to articulate you, if you are using SAP Leonardo, or if you have heard of SAP Leonardo rather, then it is using TensorFlow. Again, TensorFlow was born in Google. We open sourced it and adopted by other cloud vendors. So you can see the trust of SAP on Google Cloud and the cloud technologies, which brings a strong value proposition for you as a SAP enterprise. And what solution we support? We started in 2017, but within just 12 months, we ramped up fast to support any SAP application landscapes, whether it is ECC, whether it is S4, or might be BW as well, and even hybrids as well. So we support all the combinations. You are looking out for SAP landscapes currently you are, or might be thinking for a greenfield approach. We can help you get started on Google Cloud. So talking about the scenarios, right? So we have seen there are a lot of approaches, right? Typically, we see true lift and shift. We call it move, where you don't change, you move as it is, but still we can innovate by extracting the data or building in the API platform the way we spoke about in the last slide. You can do it. Or if you're looking to migrate, might be you are looking to re-platform one of the operating system, might be database, or in that approach, let's say you are in ECC with Oracle database, you might want to move in Suite on HANA. You can still do it the way you want to do it on Google Cloud. Or you are looking for transformation, right? Typically, you are looking for ECC to S4. You can still use our platform to do that. Might be consolidation, might be harmonizing, merging, or splitting. All sort of combination is all possible on Google Cloud. Or you might have thought of, I want to discard and start from scratch. Might be the legacy ERP, start phase. You can always do that as well. So all these options are at disposal for you as a customer to get started. So let's look at how Google Cloud has helped our customers. So there are many customers. Just these are three. This is just a tip of an iceberg. The success stories which are calling out. So Metro is one of the largest B2B retailer and wholesaler, right? Very popular name. So so they had the challenges of not only cost and outages, as well as latency was one of the challenges, which was not is not acceptable in the world of SAP as well, right? So what they did was they consolidated 100 plus S4 siloed instances to one large 12 terabyte instance on Google Cloud. As a result, they also benefited from infrastructure cost savings to 30 to 50% and reduced the outages, which are super critical for SAP application by 80%. Now, Metro is embarking on interesting use cases like customer analytics, serving customers demand in real time using our platform of big data like Dataproc, which is a managed Hadoop and Spark platform, as well as AI ML on Google Cloud. Similarly, we have seen success with Cardinal Health, which is one of the largest supply chain in the world, and primarily globally present, primarily focused on the US and the EMEA market, right? So they also had these challenges of consolidation and getting started on the cloud. So they chose Google Cloud, where the two critical segments, the medical and the pharma segmented, the servers were roughly around 400. So you're seeing a 300, slightly older number, but actually till last year they have migrated 400 servers from these two segments and to Google Cloud, and they could see the significant cost savings by 20%. And we do have an interesting use case with them, because earlier they were with other cloud and they used our tool to migrate to GCP, and later on moved their complete SAP landscape on GCP. Similarly, in India, Rustamji, very popular in manufacturing and construction space, right? So they migrated the suite on HANA without even transforming to S4. As a result, they could save significant amount of time, from 13 hours to 2 hours for invoice processing, and the backup time for the ERP system could be reduced from 6 hours to 6 minutes, apart from 56% infrastructure cost savings. And there are many more such success stories which are available on the public side. We are happy to give you the details around that. So let us, I want to conclude on this slide, because cost effectiveness is still one of the approach, and let me quantify that and help you understand how Google Cloud has been helping in the cost effectiveness approach. So first thing is about our cloud has been always from the day one like per second billing. It never been a per minute or per hour billing. And we give you two models, whether you want to go on demand model or pay per go model like other cloud vendors call it. We call it sustained use discount. So not only that, we give you transparently upfront discount depending upon the usage of hours, starting from 10, 15 to 20 to 30%. And one such differentiators for SAP applications as well is we give you custom saves. We don't only give you predefined saves, the custom saves are also being certified by SAP to run in GCP as well, so that so that you are not penalized for overusing the memory or CPU configuration if you don't need it. So the way you want to configure, you can still do it. The memory, the vCPUs, and all those combinations. This is one of the unique differences of Google Cloud, which becomes very handy and cost effective for the SAP applications. And right sizing. So with Google Cloud, we give you once the customer starts embarked on the Google Cloud, based on the usage pattern and the intelligence, with the power of AI email out of the box recommendation. So how can you optimize your resources usage? We give you those insights as well. So we spoke about one model that was go on demand or pay per go model. The other model is called committed use discount. So we give you 1 year or 3 year commitment model, but the difference is nothing is upfront like other cloud, neither even partial or full, nothing is upfront. It's completely transparent. You use it, you pay as a postpaid after you consume the services. And the best part, for the test development or batch workloads, typically doesn't require more than 24 hours of time. You can use preemptible VMs, and the preemptible VMs are quite effective because it is 80% cheaper than the normal compute price, and you don't have to bid for it like other cloud vendors. So with this, I would like to hand it back to Abdul. Thank you for listening us on GCP for SAP applications.
Hey, thanks, Pritam. Thanks for that wonderful insights on how GCP can really accelerate the return on investments for the customers. Thanks. So, thanks everyone. I'm Abdul Mani. I'm one of the co-founders at Brio, based out of Hyderabad. So, I have a small deck to start with. So, I would like to thank everyone who have joined this session, and thanks for being such a wonderful audience and giving us an opportunity to talk about what we do at Brio. So if somebody can help me, let me know if my screen is visible.
Yeah, Abdul, we can see it.
Okay, thank you. So uh, uh, I would like to start with the interesting thing, digital has been one of the main reason for disappearance of more than 50% of the companies who were in the list of Fortune 500 in the year 2000. And 90% of the executives feel that digital trends would significantly or moderately impact their industries. So there's a huge opportunity here. So in next couple of minutes, I would like to talk about how we are engaging with our customers to make the most out of this opportunity. And I would also like to take this opportunity to talk a little bit about what we do at Brio. We are a 100% cloud focused company, uh, uh, and cloud is our bread and butter. So we started in 2004, and we are a team of around 100 plus passionately technical people who are working with our customers to help them transform their IT as a business differentiator rather than just being a support function. So we were very fortunate enough to partner with Google Cloud in the year 2008, 2009. So our partnership with Google Cloud has been over a decade old. And in this last decade, we were very fortunate to work with customers of all sizes, be it some of the largest customers of organizations in India to very small customers on interesting use cases on how cloud can really empower businesses, to achieve their business goals. To talk about some of the services, our key services around infrastructure modernization. So, be it a critical workload like business critical workload like SAP, or moving an entire data center, be it from on-prem or any other public cloud to Google Cloud. Brio has the whole expertise, experience, processes, and methodologies to get you safely on Google Cloud within your timelines and budgets. We our engineers are engaging with our customer engineering teams to help them deliver true cloud native applications and enable them to adopt modern technology concepts like serverless, microservices, Kubernetes, and most importantly, enhance their DevOps pipeline to respond to the market needs, on a quicker basis. As Preetham was mentioning, like data is the new thing, and mostly the data remains untapped, in the organization, then it's not used. So I was just going through a study which says only 1% of the data which is available is used actually. So, leveraging truly serverless data warehouse solutions like BigQuery, we are working with our customers to help them reimagine their businesses with real-time insights without being constrained by cost, scale, and skills. And with AI and ML, as Preetham was mentioning, the things our customers are able to infuse AI ML, leveraging solutions like AutoML. With very small teams, they are able to build highly complex custom models which cater to their unique business needs. Uh, on the other front, when it comes to business productivity and collaboration, uh, we have worked with thousands of customers and helped change the way the work gets done with them. So you might be aware with a Google Workspace, which is the business productivity suite from Google, which includes email, secure chats, video calling, and online productivity tools like Docs, Sheets, and much more. So uh, what we have seen working with customers, the key motivators for each organization is unique, and and we can broadly classify these motivators into three categories, be it operations or technology and business. So these are the reasons why organizations are adopting cloud. So when we talk about operations, organizations may be looking to simplify their operations by making them reusable and get that agility. And when we are talking about technology, there could be a event of a hardware upgrade or SAP upgrade. And most importantly, every organization is trying to innovate and innovate by automating and scalability. And there could be business reasons around, for looking towards cloud. There could be change in the control of the company through acquisitions and mergers, and obviously, each and every organization is looking to optimize the cost. There are certain key considerations which any organization has to make or has to look into when they are thinking of moving to their SAP workloads to cloud, particularly. So, first thing is scale. Scale is very important because SAP workloads are quite intensive, and a proper plan has to be made on how these resources would be used, in what way they will be used, because cloud comes with a lot of options, as Preetham was saying, like, there are, what will be used on demand, what will be used 24 by 7, so that you can go into commitment models and leverage the pricing benefits and stuff like that. So all this has to be planned. So other key thing is around skills. Like, when a migration happens, it's not just the SAP skills which are important, but also skill sets around the cloud, which is important for organization to understand. Other key thing would be, there may be some ongoing projects which have not been implemented yet, which are going to be implemented in the future. So definitely there has to be a consideration, or the assessment has to cover these projects as well. Cloud is all about transparency. It has, like, with cloud you get a lot of predictability in cost, but still there could be some implications which have to be really considered, uh, especially around like licensing, and the sizing of the machines and stuff like that. And security is another key aspect, and this is a joint responsibility between the customer and the cloud service provider. So it's not just because you are moving to cloud, everything becomes more secure. You will be open to more vulnerabilities, but if this is addressed in a proper way, with a proper understanding of who is responsible for what, this will be more secure than your on-premise environment. Last and not the least, we have worked with large enterprises, and we see some legacy applications which are being used. And the businesses have to take a call on how these legacy applications would continue. Like, as Preetham was giving, like whether they will move. So is the OS supported? Is the database supported? Or you want to transform it, or you want to re-implement it. So there has to be a proper plan around how these migration, or how these legacy applications would be working in the future. And depending on the cloud maturity, like when we see the scale of cloud maturity of organization, they could be at different levels. Like, to start with, like, there may be some organizations who are just exploring cloud today. They are just trying to understand what is cloud, what are the benefits, and some may be in a phase where they might have decided, yes, this is a cloud which is in line with our business, with which is in line with our IT needs and business needs. And once that is decided, then maybe you may be in a process of figuring out how your workloads are going to migrate to the cloud. And the last phase is all about, the more matured phase is about operating and innovating. So where most of your workloads are running on cloud, you're just operating them, and you're trying to leverage all the tools which we were talking in the earlier session. How are you going to leverage data? How are you going to integrate your different applications? How are you going to optimize your cloud on cost on the cloud? So this is a more mature phase which the customers are in. And there are two learnings which we have from working experience, working with hundreds of customers. The first thing is, any cloud migration is not just another IT project. It needs a great amount of support from the leadership, and it needs a proper change management. And the second thing which we learned is about, it's all about, it's not going to change with a flip of button. It's a long journey, and that's the reason, like, Google and Brio are there who are willing to take this journey along with you and see that how we can make or how we can get you the best ROI of your spend on the cloud. Any migration, like the three important components which are involved for any migration, it's about people, process, and technology. Usually what happens is when these type of projects come in, the focus is mainly on technology and leaving a little for people and processes. But out of our experience, it's a these three components are very important and they have to be acted upon simultaneously in a sustained way for the success of any project. Uh, at the end, it's all about enabling technology and motivating people and reimagining your business process so that the whole migration or the transformation for which these projects are taken are really serving the purpose. Coming to the methodology in a way we are implementing, all way the way we are migrating, there are different phases. First phase is all about foundation. Like once this is the phase when you have decided that you have to move to the cloud and you have decided which cloud you have to move. So let's say you decide moving with GCP. The first thing which will be done is creating your organization, creating your projects, and seeing who gets access to what, considering your legal and security compliances, validating them whether they will be fulfilled or not, and most importantly, trying to have a center of excellence within your organization to support this initiative. The second phase would be on the application discovery, which is like, we try to understand what type of applications are there and what each application would need or what approach it would need to get it into a cloud. Uh, the key phase is all about migration. Again, migration will have four sub phases. For the first phase is like plan and design, where we are really looking to define your target SAP landscape and architecture which will be there on the cloud, and we'll be finalizing the approach, what are the tools which are going to be used for various applications, and if required, any POCs or pilots needs to be done to validate those ideas. Those will be done in the plan and design subphase. Then most importantly, testing the foundation readiness, revalidating our sizings and the target architecture. And the key phase is all about migration, where we'll be doing different types of testing. Uh, we'll we'll be performing the pre-go live readiness or tasks and stuff like that. And the most important thing is all about doing the cutover and going live on the cloud. So this is a typical journey which take place with any customer. And as I discussed, like when these things happen, like then people will look into how further we can optimize the spend, what extra benefits we can leverage by integrating SAP with other applications and making the most out of the platform. So, coming to the last slide, like, why Brio, why partner? So, what we understand is cloud is all about choices, and choices are great for customers. And but the most important thing is making the right choice. We have seen far many CXOs taking this cloud migration journey only to face delays in the project, overrunning budgets, employee pushbacks, in worst cases, loss of data and security in some cases. So you need an expert who can take you, who knows what are the mistakes that could be made and who knows how to avoid those mistakes. So other value add which we do is skills is an important thing. As I was talking about, any migration would need like definitely SAP skills or and the infra skills as well, cloud infra skills. So this is where we try to augment your team. We try to fast track the adoption within your teams and try to become an extended arm of yours. So every customer will have this doubt. whatever has been taught, does it fit to me? So what we do to answer this question is we try to run half-day workshops with them and try to see how Google Cloud and Brio together can add value for what you are looking at. And there are different programs to help you help any organization which is trying to move to cloud, where the support is there from Google and Brio on the services aspects, on the financial aspects. So with this, I would like to conclude, and I would like to hand over to the moderator. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sahu and Mr. Muneem, for an insightful session. We indeed garnered quite some interesting learnings today. So, with that, may we now have the QR code, please, for our audiences? So I may request our audiences to kindly share the scan code and share your questions with us. In case if someone is not being able to scan the QR code, you may scroll down to the end of the page where you will find the link embedded. You may also click on that link and share your questions with us. So while audiences share their questions with us, so I have one question for our speakers. So as we have seen in the discussion today also, what I realized is the cost of moving to the cloud is pretty high comparatively. And this often comes as a concern for many organizations too while talking about, shifting to the cloud. So why should one move to the cloud? If you may kindly share your thoughts on this, and I'm sure a lot of our audiences too will have the same query somewhere in their minds. So if you may help us with that.
That's a interesting question by Saki, and see, there's no one answer to it. Like when people have already running on-prem, and cost is high, why people should really move? It's not about cost; it's about being competitive. End of the day, because there are certain business needs, like one aspect which we have seen is people are greatly influenced by the technology they use in their personal lives. Like maybe you're using applications for video chatting, collaborating with your family, friends, and shopping experiences, and how you travel. Everything has changed online, right? So these are some of the expectations which a person or an employee of an organization will have end of the day, because he's using something better, and when he comes to his office, he expects the professional applications, or the applications which he is using in his professional life are also in par with what he is using in the personal life. So performance, security, and how quickly you are able to make some decisions are couple of key factors which are important for any organizations. I can't say, hey, I'm spending X amount of money, and moving to cloud is like 2x for me, so this is a costly affair. But it really has to make sense for an organization, and that is a key consideration which any organization has to make. Hey, when I'm spending this X amount of money, which is more than what I'm spending, what is the real value at the end of the day my organization is getting? How this movement, or how this move or transformation is aligned to our business goals? And if you're spending like 2x, but if you're increasing your revenue, competitiveness, employee satisfaction by 10x, then I think it's not about cost. It's about how you are, you know, uh, cutting down the time and moving ahead of your competition and gaining whatever the business benefits you have. These are some of the inputs. I think Preetham can add more to that.
Yeah, thanks, Abdul. It's well articulated. And like Vaisaki, like it's also about to do a right discovery and assessment when you're starting the migration journey while moving to cloud. If that goes doesn't is not done in a proper structured manner, then there is also going to be hiccup in the cost as well. So like doing right sizing, doing optimization even before you migrate. So we give you tools from Google Cloud. Like definitely Brio has been helping our customers in this journey do a right assessment and then go into the cloud and do a further optimization using the world of AI ML out of the box available on console. Plus, as one key thing which holds the entire journey is to build a cost conscious culture. So that culture only comes when you involve people right from the day one rather than just telling them we are just migrating to cloud, right? So that has to be awareness has to be there and regular. No longer QBR matters these days because it's not a legacy on-prem world where you do once in a while QBR for the cost to see where you are heading, right? So it's more of a weekly or might be initial days of once in 2 3 days, because once you gain visibility and control how the spend is happening, then you can easily have a better control over the cost and the visibility aspect as well. So we have seen a lot of enterprises following this approach rather than just following once in 3 months approach for a review process.
Thank you for shedding some light into one of the much questioned topic. So, and it indeed makes a lot more sense now. So, with that, I believe we'll now move on to our Q&A session. So, I'll keep the questions open for both of you so that any one of you can take it up as deemed suitable. So, the first question that we have from our audience today is, how can a public cloud help your SAP environment be secure?
Preetham, you can take this.
Yeah, so how can public cloud, if I understand correctly, help your environment secure, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, it's all depends like how, like let's from Google Cloud side, I can highlight that aspect. So if you look at Google Cloud, we are literally paranoid. And sorry for this word because we use it and we believe in nobody. We believe in zero trust security or no trust security model. So what it means for the customer is the first thing, encryption is not a choice here. So it is by default. If you are not using encryption, then you cannot push your data. So we are starting from that base and encryption in transit as well. And with encryption for the data at rest, we give you a lot of options. Let's say you are a banking customer, you might not be okay to use Google Cloud encryption keys. You want to bring your own encryption keys and written on prem. You can do that. Plus, the best part is if you look at any consumer side of products, like of Gmail or YouTube or search, which Google is very popular and it's become like a day in part and parcel of our life, right? So if you look at this product, hardly you have heard like this product has got security breach or a data breach anywhere, because we use custom built infrastructure. That infrastructure we don't rely on third party like other CSPs. They might rely on any of the cloud hardware vendors. We built it from the day one itself. As a result, we don't want to have lot of vendors bringing in lot of vulnerabilities, right, and do patching and all those things, right? So these are some of the few things. But yes, apart from other services like how you want to get started, they protect your data with IAM controls, which is very much identity access management, very much super critical. We give you those levers. And depending on the workload, so like let's say for example you are using a Kubernetes, right? You have container images and you might be worried whether my that image is safe or not, right? Is following the standards or protocols which you have set as an organizational practice. We give you a lot of this vulnerability scanning as well option as well. So there are a lot of levers. If you really want to safeguard, there are, if you ask for 100, we'll give you 101 ways to safeguard your workload. So yes, we understand there can be initial days of understanding the platform. It's all about making our customers aware and what layer you're trying to protect, whether it's infra, whether it is data, whether it is app layer, right? So we give you all the levers and flexibilities to get you started. And the best part is we even fund the bounty program. Let's say any developer says we hack Google products, right? Irrespective of Google Cloud or non-Google Cloud, we reward them and also we fix it. And of course, we believe in all the compliance governance control, and customers are looking out vulnerability penetration testing. They can also do that. nothing stops us to prove us wrong that our platform is prone to breaches and vulnerabilities and all those things.
Thank you. Moving on to
So
the next question, do we
I'd
have?
just like to add one point here, Baisakhi, because when we are talking about security, right, security is a joint responsibility. It's not just like only Google Cloud is responsible for securing your data. No matter how good security you have, but if you are not careful about about what is there in your scope. So the first thing which is important for people to understand is when they're moving to cloud, it's a joint responsibility of the customer and the cloud service provider. So when those things are definitely understood by businesses and they are clear with what they are supposed to do for the security, like being on cloud does not mean your endpoints are secured, right? So how are you going to secure your environment, your infrastructure, which is on-prem, like maybe laptops, desktops, mobiles, and how the data would be accessed. So there are a lot of things around it. One important thing is yes, it is super secured, as Preetham was said, but anything world class, has to be operated in a certain way in a certain protocol. So everyone needs to be knowing what they're supposed to do and everything.
Thank you. As I was about to mention that talking about the next question, though both of you have already touched upon this point, still I would further put on the question if you have some additional, pointers to share on this. So the question goes out: how will cloud providers protect out the data? So if you would like to add something more to this point.
I think like most all the points are mostly covered, but still, what I feel is if I give you an analogy of your money, right, it's best protected in your bank rather than at your home, right? So that's the core difference. And keeping your money in the bank not only helps you secure it, but it also enables uh, exercise x number of options which are not available. Like once you have money in your bank account and you are online, you can use the UPI, you can use online transfers, a host of things are available for you. But the same thing does not happen if you keep your money at home, right? So yes, I think like from my side, I'm done. But if Preetham wants to add anything more on the security side, he can.
Yeah, Abdul, that was a very well analogy, and you have rightly covered it from all the aspect, honestly. Because yeah, so see, it's all about the layers we spoke about, and this one missed out, and Abdul really articulated well. It's a shared responsibility model, right? Even though the cloud provider gives you, are you implementing is not is up to customer, because we as a practice don't interfere in customer workloads, and similarly for other cloud vendors it works well. But if they are not implementing the right guardrails, the governance model, the compliance or security posture, the purpose gets defeated. So that's the reason from the day one, whenever we engage in a customer, whether it is proof of concept or a workshop or a real-time migration, we educate the customers on each point and make them aware for each of the benefits of implementing these aspects, so that their entire workload, whatever the application, virtual machines or data or the applications, they might be using AML, right? So we give you all the best possible ways, understanding coupled to their workload. It's not like a generic. We guide them at each and every step, and of course, with a strong extended team like Brio, we have made this as a successful and tried to remove the FUD around the security breaches and the concerns which any customer would have.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing your insights. So we have time to quickly take two more questions. So moving on to the next question, the question comes as: what are the major benefits of moving to cloud for small based customer company?
Uh, 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 First benefit, what I understand is for any organization, like be it small or big. Uh, First thing is it really cuts down your time for validating your idea, right? Because let's say you want to do it on prem, you have to procure the infrastructure, you want to do it, it takes time. Like maybe if it takes a week's time for you to get that right infra, it takes like 7 minutes to create a that infra in the cloud. So that is the time which you would save. And it's like, as Preetham was mentioning, like these are all on demand things, so you really pay for what you use, right? If you're having a VM and you have a test environment which is running only say a part of the day, which is like say 8 hours, or 5 days of a week, 8 hours is just running 40 hours in a week. You just pay for 40 hours and you don't pay for rest of the time when you're not using that infra. So uh, first thing is to just validate. And we because Brio as such is, we have a strong principle like preach what you practice, right? So uh, uh, we use multiple products on cloud. Like we are a product company as well. We have our own payroll product, but that does not mean I go and again, like if I want to use CRM, I it does that does not mean I have to build CRM for myself, right? Because I want to leverage some team which is like 100, 200 people, day in day out they're working on that product, and giving those benefits in turn to me. So there are a lot of benefits in terms of cost, in terms of security, in terms of the most important thing is focusing on your business. For a small business, it's very important that they are focusing on what they are good at. It implies to a small business, it implies to a very large business also. That's the reason like people are focusing on their strengths rather than which they have to do, and which they are not passionate about. There are like technology passionate people like us who wants to just focus on technology and nothing else, right? So, and they're just, there are certain people who want to do certain things. So I think the time it'll give you the and the amount of focus which you will have moving to the cloud is immense. Freedom, you want to add something?
No, it's well covered, Abdul. I think all the aspects you have covered it well.
Thank you. So, moving on to our last question for today. So, the question goes out: which platform is recommended for any organization to meet out their ROI? So, is it either on premise or cloud, or with on prem and DR on cloud?
Pritam, you want to take that?
Yeah. So again, so there is no one way answer because each customer's landscape is unique and we'll have to look out. And the best part is, as I said, falling back, when you do migration, we follow the four pillar journey. So first is discovery and assessment, of course, out of the four pillar where actual migration is done, then you do innovation or optimization, the last part, right? So the if the discovery and assessment is not done, then there are a lot of open points and questions where you need to ask yourself, right? To do that and to mitigate those challenges, we give you all the number figures upfront, saying this: if you migrate this workload from on-prem, let's say it's a 20 virtual machine or 50 virtual machines or even physical servers to cloud, 3 hours ROI this. So then you can go back and compare, saying this: okay, for on-prem I have to include every aspect, including the non-tangible aspect as well as the resource cost, right? Managing the infrastructure, patching work, the electricity cost, all this not so visible aspect, right? To include and then compare, saying that is it making sense or not? Yes, normally what we tell is if customer has a lot of workloads and landscape is complete and it can be 500 servers and something, we tell them to get a hang of the cloud if they're starting new, to start with smaller workloads so that they really can see the benefit of cloud. And cost can be the starting parameter to address, but we always have seen like over eventually the customers have seen, as also Abdul highlighted, it's what's the value they're also getting. So it's always the cost plus value at the end. If we compare cost, then we are really not doing justice to the cloud, because all this, the world class technologies like data science, the serverless, right, which are very much productive and can give you a cost savings in terms of, instead of using the resource in a more fruitful work rather than doing all infrastructure related work, right, the operational efficiency can be significantly improved. So these are typically not so easy to quantify, but If customer knows this aspect, then they can see, yes, cloud can definitely help you. And of course, I said, I always tell my customers and of course my partners, let's do the discovery and assessment and let's try to understand your landscape rather than going a generic pattern, because that might not hold good for them.
Thank you, Mr. Sahu. Thank you, Mr. Muneem, for sharing such insightful thoughts with us. With that, we come to the end of today's webinar. And once again, I would like to take this opportunity to thank both of our speakers for taking out time today, being with us, and most importantly, sharing such valuable takeaways at the end of an hour. For our audiences, I hope you all found this event to be insightful and engaging as much as we enjoyed putting it all together. But before we wrap up, Team Economic Times wishes all our audiences and the speakers safety and the best of health. Have a great evening ahead, everyone.
Thank you. Have a great day,
Thank
everyone.
you,
And
everyone.
thanks for the time.
Have a great day.